I would assume that animals in captivity, for the most part, aren't the happiest creatures on this earth. Yes, they get all the food they need, but their freedom is completely gone, and I don't think that a wild animal is happy to be locked up in cages, as we will see in this video. Let's get started. Kathy was a dolphin that actually appeared in the famous Flipper TV show from the 60s. Richard O'Barry was her trainer, and he had a very sad story to tell about the death of this famous mammal. Richard said that one day while training Kathy, she swam up to him onto his arms, and as he was holding her, she took a breath and never took one again. Dolphins have to consciously take breaths, unlike us where we just breathe automatically. Except right now, where you are consciously taking a breath because I told you. This means that they are able to die anytime they want, and that's exactly what happened to Kathy, as O'Brien let her go and she just sank straight down into the pool. O'Brien became an animal rights activist for the rest of his life and even took part in the famous The Cove documentary. A perfect physically healthy bear actually starved itself to death in 2012. The bear was obviously not psychologically healthy, as it willingly stopped eating for more than 10 days before it finally passed away. The bear was obviously not happy with being in a freedom-deprived environment, and this was the only way that it could escape from such a terrible situation. The most incredible story actually came from China, where they keep bears in captivity in order to farm their bile, which they believe has medicinal purposes. A mama bear was in her cage when the people started to farm the baby bear. She heard him scream in pain and she took action. This action might not make sense to many, but this is how she decided to save her baby. She fought and escaped from her cage and ran to her baby as the farmers ran away in fear. She then immediately smothered the baby and killed it. She then got up and ran at full speed down a hallway directly into a wall, killing itself instantly. This story is incredible and people have questioned its accuracy, but if it's true, it shows how much animals are suffering, and based on other stories on this list, a version of this story is possible. In a weird experiment performed by NASA, you have researcher Margaret Howe Lovat, who was tasked in taking care of a dolphin named Peter while she and the agency attempted to teach the dolphin to speak English. Peter started to become obsessed with Lovat, getting depressed whenever Lovat wasn't around him. They spent every single possible second together in order to see if the experiment could be successful, but eventually the dolphin became infatuated with Lovat, and apparently it did turn physical, where she relieved him. Eventually the funding ran out for this crazy experiment, and Peter was taken to a dolphin tank in Florida, and he looked to be completely heartbroken by the separation. Within a couple of weeks, Peter was dead. The dolphin had stopped breathing on purpose and it died from a broken heart. The Giza Zoo has suffered from various allegations of mistreatment of its animals over the years, but in 2013, they had a baby giraffe actually take its own life. Roca the giraffe was apparently being mistreated by zoo visitors. They were even being aggressive against her. In her sadness, she started hitting herself against the iron fence, and this led to her eventual demise. The zoo tried to cover this up by saying that it had died after choking itself on the roof of its metal shade, but that doesn't make it sound any better. The death is made even worse by the fact that the stupid visitors are the cause of this death. Orcas are probably the animal that are lacking the most freedom, because they are locked up in tiny pools compared to what they can swim in while in the wild. Hugo was a male killer whale that was at the Florida aquarium named Miami Seaquarium and was captured in the wild as a teenager. He was never able to fully adjust to life in an aquarium, and when they finally were able to get a companion killer whale for him that was captured in the wild as well, named Lolita, Hugo was already showing signs of major distress, and this wouldn't help him at all. Hugo showed signs of aggression towards his trainers and to himself by repeatedly smashing his head against the viewing windows under the pool, but he never showed any signs of aggression towards Lolita. Eventually, Hugo smashed his head too many times and suffered a massive brain hemorrhage in 1980 and it died. He basically killed himself out of sadness, frustration, and the anger of being locked up in a pool that was 80 feet wide by only 20 feet deep, which is barely longer than his body. The aquarium never got a companion for Lolita, but are now trying to release her into the wild, but that will take some time. The owners, at least, learned a lesson from this martyr of a killer whale. Zoos and aquariums are a tricky thing because a lot of animals that they have are rescued and healed from their injuries. But whenever they take a healthy animal from the wild, that really sucks. These animals cannot adjust to such a change, especially when their instincts are not being satisfied. Maybe we should move away from this type of entertainment. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time.